I got my Dab East and Feeling shirt on.
Huh?
we making a spaghetti western over here. You're the quiet sleeping cowboy.
Hey man, is that a real poncho or is that a Sears poncho? The camera
Dude.
is, look, I'm off. I'm just gonna be
Hey everybody, welcome to the Thursday live stream. This is your old pal Chris.
Hey, maybe Rick will do it for us.
There
we
you
go.
Thank
We're gonna be dorking around with
yeah,
the
the camera's gonna get dorked a lot
tonight. Is it time to happen here?
Where was I? I was at I think I was in
Guitar Center looking for gold parts.
No. I was in Grand Junction at like a Coyote gas station, and they had those Mexican serape kind of jackets, and they were like $25 or $30, and I was like, oh man, yeah, I've always wanted one of those.
Yeah, did they have OP shorts too?
No, they didn't. And the problem with the jacket was it's a pullover, and I hate that shit.
Did it say Corona Beach Club on it? That'd be rad.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
They looked not half bad, but I thought that was a weird thing to have, just because it's not like they had a whole lot of other stuff. It was like they got a good deal on a bunch of jackets.
Maybe, and who knows?
Yeah, what they did. Yeah,
and who knows, Chris?
But anyway, I kind of wanted one.
Maybe they did.
I should have bought one. You could have the hat. I could have a hot ass coat every week. Everybody,
I'm exhausted.
Is it time to be done yet?
It's hot
getting
today.
Hotter.
It's like 81 degrees.
Oh, it is hot outside.
I don't know what it is.
It's
in
hot
the
in
shop,
here
but
too.
it's pretty warm.
We could play Name That Temperature.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 76.
83. Anyway, at the sensor.
At the sensor, yeah, over there at the wall. Yeah.
Hey everybody, this is Matt. We're at Texas Toast Guitars. Thanks for watching our Thursday live stream. We are going to once again depart from the what has up until last week been the standard thing, which is live Q&A. We're not doing that today. Today we're going to talk a little bit about some current events, some current event, and we've got another. I have this old guitar. This time it's from your private collection.
Yes, from my extremely private collection. You just wait until you see how my private collection is.
So
I don't have a whole lot of collection anymore.
So if you have questions for us, I guess you're just going to have to wait until the next time that we do a live Q&A. You know,
unless I'm going to be a bit of a slut here, unless there's a super chat behind it, and then I might answer a question.
We'll whore ourselves out
for guarantee. We're gonna have to like the question.
I mean, yeah, if you write a question on a $20 bill and pass it up, we'll be happy to answer it.
Yeah, and during the I have this old guitar portion. If there's a question pertaining to that,
and we see it,
which we might not.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So, you know, I've been getting a bunch of questions and I've been trying to answer them as best as I can. One question that comes up often, and I think I should go ahead and let everyone know this. When is the run of TV Yellow Challenger Juniors going to be done? No, I'm asking.
Originally we said 90 days.
We said May.
And originally we haven't said anything else.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, I would. We're pretty much on track.
Yeah.
You know.
Now Dylan,
these things don't happen overnight.
No, and Dylan will be here in May.
Yeah.
He's going to wind the pickups here, and we're going to see if we can't even get him to, pop them in for fun.
Make him wire all those guitars. That'll be sweet.
Dylan, I think is here.
Since you're not doing anything else, Dylan.
He's got a bunch of stuff to do.
Yeah, he does. He dropped off a bunch of boxes, and I pilfered through every one of them.
Nice. Did you sell all the copper?
Yeah, it's not going for what it used to, but I still got okay money for it. We haven't opened any.
No, so Dylan is here in the chat. So so we are on course, on track to finish up the challenge, the first run of the first 10 Challenger Juniors. Whose phone is that? My phone or your phone? And I think it's mine. And the other ones are actually in progress too.
Yeah, and I think we're actually doing pretty well with the whole thing.
Given that there's 17 of them that were sold as part of the deal. Yeah. So
yeah.
So that and we have a workshop going on this week, and there'll be a reveal tomorrow from the workshop, and I think you're going to be
might be our first twin class.
Might
be
be
the first time we've ever had twins.
Speaking of twins, let's take a super chat. Brian Duncan says that the band name is Duvet, not Quilt. And I know, but Brian, I changed it. I changed that joke to be Quilt because not everyone knew what a duvet was.
Yeah,
they hadn't seen Fight Club.
I think that's where I put my feet.
Yeah. So
it's a Davenport.
No, that's a sofa. That's a divan.
It's a divan. There
you
go. Yeah, Davenport.
So yeah, the Challenger Juniors are moving right along, as well as all the other stuff that's moving right along. We have a reveal scheduled for a week from tomorrow that you've all been eagerly anticipating. One guy in particular, maybe more than some others, and that's still going to happen.
Still going to happen. Right. Yep. Okay. Unless tragedy strikes.
Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise is what
even say. Too high. I mean, the creek could rise. I could still get them done.
Poquito.
Yeah. I'm not above working with wet feet, so.
So, so that, as they say, is that. So Chris, I was at the tax office this week because I waited until the very last possible minute, which is, I don't advise it because it was kind of a thing, but I did it. And while I was there, I got something on my phone. I don't know why I got this.
Herpes?
No.
Oh.
No. Herpes.
So that's not the direction the story's going?
I have herpes on my head.
On my phone.
Not on my phone. No, that's not. Why would I get herpes? No.
I don't know. I don't even know that that's a thing.
It's not.
That's I hear as an Apple guy, I hear you other people might have some issues with stuff like that.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
What?
So anyway, on my phone, I got some notification that Rick Turner had died.
Oh, now I feel bad for making a herpes joke.
You should, because that was that's tacky.
It was. Oh my.
So so sure enough, I did, and you guys have probably seen it, and I don't want to celebrate Rick Turner's passing, but I do want to celebrate Rick Turner as just a guy.
Yeah.
And I never met Rick Turner. Now I had a chance and I didn't.
Yeah.
And you did too. We were at a NAMM show and Rick Turner was just at his booth and no one was there. And I didn't go up and say hi. Rick Turner.
Did we even go by his booth?
No, I don't think
we walk by it and go, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. And he was right there. And we missed opportunity.
Yeah.
So I guess
wasn't even really that aware of Rick Turner until we did the thing with Andy the Saint.
Yeah. Well, let's
be honest with you.
Let's talk a little bit about that. So we were there and we missed the opportunity to meet Rick Turner, and we won't have that chance again, will we?
No.
But later on, our good friend Andrew St. Pierre, aka Andy the Saint, kind of commissioned us to open the shop to him for a week and build some not counterfeit Model 1s, but some as close as we could get.
Yeah. And
man, what a engineering endeavor that was.
Yeah, because I like to think that we have we're pretty solid on techniques and how people do stuff. And that guitar was a total mind fuck.
Yeah, if you were to say, hey, build up really anything by Fender.
Yeah.
Okay. No
and,
sweat.
Yeah. And even Gibson, there's stuff that we just can't do because we don't have the tools to do it or whatever.
Like arch tops and things like that. Yeah.
But we know how they're made.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And this thing was just.
It was really thinking several steps ahead, and it really kind of cemented, for me anyway, that Rick Turner was kind of one of the last of those guys from the 70s who, I'm sure he's not the last, but one of the last guys who was doing this in the 70s, who was still around. And now, unfortunately, he's not still around. But I looked some stuff up about Rick Turner. Did you know what Rick Turner's full name is?
I thought it was Rickland Turner.
No,
Rick.
Just you're never going to get it, because it was Warwick Lancelot Armstrong Rick Turner the third.
The third?
Yes.
As a fellow third.
Yeah.
Yeah, where did Lancelot come from?
The Knights of the Round Table guy, I guess.
Yeah, man,
I don't
is
know.
he? Yeah.
You can look it up. That's on the Wiki. If you look up Rick Lancelot Turner,
okay,
you'll because I knew that it was a thing, but I didn't know. I couldn't find it. Like in the various obituaries and things. It's my phone, and I'm getting a call from potential spam. That's my phone, not your phone. So I think it's my car warranty. Anyway, look, car warranty people. This is a thing we're trying to remember Rick Turner, and you guys are dorking up the whole thing.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Yeah. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
We're all headed that direction. So anyway, Warwick Lancelot Armstrong Rick Turner the third. That's a $25 handle right there.
It really is.
Yeah.
I'm surprised the guitars weren't Lancelot.
I
might have run with Lancelot.
Well, Warwick was already taken. I'm sure it wasn't. Yeah, in the 70s.
Yeah.
So, so I took and printed this excerpt from Fretboard Journal. I want to read a couple things here that I thought were particularly interesting to me.
Okay.
About Rick Turner, and then we can talk a bit more about what we know about Rick Turner. So,
sure.
So in the 1970s, he worked for Alembic, and he hand wound pickups, designed guitars and basses, and was on the front lines for the Grateful Dead's Macintosh powered 125,000 watt wall of sound.
125,000?
Yes. Now that's big, sir.
Seems like a lot.
You've heard some of his creations or modifications from the era. He worked for the Grateful Dead, the Youngbloods, Hot Tuna, Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention, and numerous other acts from the 60s and 70s. Custom Alembics. Jack Cassidy still plays his Alembic, as does David Crosby, etc., etc. So yeah, so if you've heard of Alembic, Rick Turner was, on the front lines of some of that stuff, and he came from definitely a woodworking background, as evidenced by this picture right here. I don't know. I'm just gonna show you guys, so you can see in the picture here. This is the back of one of his headstocks, and you can see all those are laminates. And laminated together. And when we were doing the one for Andrew St. Pierre, the heel is laminated. Stop looking. I'm going to read it to you. The heel was laminated, and everything was very classical guitar construction techniques. So anyway, of course, this is a headstock from the Model 1. The Model 1 is an electric guitar inspired by the shape of his 1820s Stauffer guitar. This is Turner in a nutshell, a guy who knew enough about history of musical instruments to go back 160 years and find a design with a cutaway added that would be the ultimate electric guitar shape. I don't know if it was the ultimate electric guitar shape, but pretty damn good. And you actually said, too, that it was reminded you of some of those early parlor guitars, and I think St. Pierre was talking about the Stauffer and things like that. Yeah. So
yeah, they're neat.
Yeah. The peculiar thing to me is that they were originally, I don't know if they still are, solid body guitars, no hollow.
Yeah. Yeah, for a guitar that presumably gets clamshelled together. Yeah, you could make it do it all sorts of ways. Yeah. Hollow it out all sorts of ways. Yeah.
So he did a bunch of things, and one of the things that was kind of a passion project for him was that piezo pickup. He says that I may have learned more from the thought process of figuring out how to create a digital model of the signal transform than I had. I may have learned more from the thought process of figuring out how to create a digital model of the signal transform that I had in close to 50 years of tapping on tops. I'm not sure what that sent. How that sent. I think there needs to be an S or a vowel needs to be bought. But
you think?
Yeah. So, but yeah. So
I think I know what he's saying.
Yeah. So transforming a signal from trying to match the acoustic sound in an electric way. Is he said that he learned, basically, I think what he's saying there is he learned more about the acoustic guitar, more doing that than he ever did tapping on wood. So guys who go and tap on lumber, stick that in your pipe and smoke it. You know, a guy who's been around for, I'm not saying that he also said tapping on tops. Guys, there is a gigantic, humongous, incredible difference between tapping on a block of wood and voicing a soundboard.
Yeah.
I have said that from the beginning, and I will say that until the day I die with Paul Reed Smith's hands around my neck. Probably. I'm guessing. I don't know. I hope not, but maybe. Okay. Let's say so he goes on to say, this is a quote from Rick Turner. This is my personal favorite thing. What is the signature sound of an acoustic guitar? It's a fucked up mess, which we find utterly compelling. Why? Because the physical limitations of wood and air transform a relatively simple audio signal into something vastly more complex.
Yeah, people talk about the reason that there's really no way to intonate an acoustic guitar or an easy way to do it is because the sound is so jumbled that it ultimately doesn't really matter. You can't really tell. Yeah. So
Rick Turner is no longer with us. If you don't know who Rick Turner is, check him out. Check out some of his guitars. I'm sure you've seen some of his guitars, even if you don't know what the guy's name is who made them.
It seemed like he was pretty content to be what he was. You know, I mean, there was never the I mean, he didn't feel the need to be the next big mover shaker. He made his guitars. He made the same guitars.
Yeah, he was he was a legend, but you had to know a little bit about it.
And he was fine with that. Yeah. So that's cool.
Yeah. And he had some big name players playing his stuff. Obviously, Lindsey Buckingham from I didn't read the part where they talked about Lindsey Buckingham, but if you've ever heard classic rock radio, you've heard some of
Turner,
Lancelot Turner, the Thirds, stuff. Yeah.
Was there ever a Model 2? That's what I want to know.
We could go and look. I'm sure there was lots of models.
Yeah. Model 3.
There were a bunch of models, and they were uniquely Rick Turner inspired designs. And there's one that looks like a pretzel. Actually, I think I might have a picture of that. So anyway, what was something that you kind of remember? I don't have a picture that you kind of remembered about the Rick Turner thing.
Did I mention it? But
no. What was look? So we talk about this like you and I have made a bunch of guitars that could be considered counterfeit guitars.
Sure.
To the trained eye, they're probably you'd be able to tell, but like if you're like at a show or something, and this happens to me all the time. Actually, there's one particular floating around here, and it's a bass that I wasn't supposed to make a copy of, and I did anyway. And whenever the person who owns it plays it out, people go, "Wow, what a great insert name of that." And I'm like, "Well, that's not what that is. That's a guitar that's a bass that I made." Yeah. Texas Toast on it.
Yeah. So what did I learn about the Turners?
Well, yeah. So I mean, again, if you throw us almost anything that's a conventional thing, we could make a counterfeit of it.
Yeah.
Set neck, bolt on, neck through, lots of things like that. And
well, usually if the everything stays flat until it's not. Yeah. And with the Turners, they were not flat really, really fast. So you had to think way ahead on how you're going to do all this work while it's flat so that you can make it not flat. And that doesn't really make sense, but it's got like this, what is that, a 25-degree radius?
It's a 25-inch radius on the top and back.
And back, yeah. And if it was just the top, no problem.
It would be slightly easier.
Yeah, we'll make that all day long. But as soon as you add the other side, then then all of a sudden you can't lay anything flat. So you have to do everything as 2 halves.
Yeah.
And then you clamshell it together at the end, which creates its own problems.
Mhm.
And it's got a wacky pickup situation going on.
Yep.
It's got a little puck in it that with a humbucker that you can rotate.
A lot of people see that and think it's they assume it's a hollow guitar because
yeah.
it's an acoustic
That's
because
what
it looks
like.
like
yeah,
that.
It's
And
got
it's not.
It's got a fill-in thing. It's not.
I would imagine too that once you get that where you want it, you just
Pretty much just
leave it,
stays. Yeah, I wanted to put like a wing nut on it so you could just adjust it on the fly.
Mhm.
Yeah, like you're soloing.
Now, did Andy Desane ever send you pictures of the guitars completed?
He sent me a video. Yeah.
Oh, neat.
Yeah,
Okay.
a little short. Yeah, video. They look well. The one looked really great. I think the other one's still in process,
Mhm.
but yeah, it looked really, really good. And he said his brother loves it. So
Cool.
So that's cool. Yeah, they were really fun, and I learned a ton doing them. I don't ever want to make another one.
Yeah, and people ask me every so often, "Hey, will you make an inexpensive version of the Model 1?"
You can go and get those from all the Chinese places.
Yeah.
When I was trying to find information on Rick Turner dying, all those AliExpress bullshit ones came up. And so I was like, man, for $334.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it, I was like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
This is missing a bunch of the key stuff
Missing
that makes these
some
guitars really cool.
stuff,
So yeah. But they were fun. Man, they were dinky.
Yeah, they
almost look like violin basses.
They
because
do.
the body's so
yeah.
small and it's got a regular neck, but it just looked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a really fun project, and I learned a lot about guitar building and guitar. You know, it's neat to make something. It's neat to do a cover, make a copy, do a counterfeit version of something.
Yeah.
And try to figure out how the guy did it.
Yeah,
who knows if you're right, but
yeah. And we just like a cover band, we found pictures of Rick Turner back in the day, and we dressed just like him every day.
Duh.
As we were making it. Yeah. To truly get the feel for it.
Andy Desane even dyed his hair. He dyed his hair gray.
Yeah, we grew really funny mustaches for a week. Yeah.
Yep. I actually had a fro.
And we called each other Rick.
Everybody was
Rick. Hey, Rick. Yeah? No, other Rick.
You want to go to lunch? Yeah.
Yeah.
It worked out great.
So dumb.
So Rick Turner, guys, I encourage you to deep dive a little bit into the Rick Turner story, and I think that if you're a guitar nerd, everyone watching, everyone listening is a guitar nerd to some extent. But there are probably people who are as nerdy about the same stuff that I am, or you are, or we are, who watch and listen and comment. And if you don't know about Rick Turner, go check it out. His guitars are fascinating, and the design process is
you can tell he came from kind of a different field originally. Yeah, he didn't start working at Gibson when he was 14.
He did work at Gibson actually in the the late 80s, I think.
Yeah. But the tools that he had access to at some point led him to what he made.
He was a woodworker.
Yeah. But even so, and we talk about it. We're trying to figure out, where did that 25-inch radius come from?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
if you there are some drawings of someone who apprenticed with him, and actually, in answer to your question, as you know the answer to this already, but Rick Turner originally, now of course, recently he had a CNC machine do all that stuff, but originally back in the 70s he had a planer with a planer blade that instead of being flat, it had a 25-degree arc built into it. So yeah.
Well, that would have made it a lot easier.
Yeah. So anyway,
but where did that come from?
I had it custom made. Yeah.
Custom made. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Giant planer with a giant planer blade.
Yeah.
Sure.
So anyway, last week I got a bunch of shade from a couple people who were watching. I'm not sure what their problem was, who they were, but maybe they'll make an appearance tonight.
Maybe they will. Maybe they'll beat me up this week
when we break out I have this old guitar segment
Yeah.
right now.
Is
So
that what we're doing?
we're ready.
Are we ready?
Are you ready to go into I
Oh,
have this old
man,
guitar?
I am so ready.
So guys, everybody, this is I have this old guitar, which is our new thing that we're doing. We might do we might go back and do a Q&A again sometime, but Chris volunteered his what is this, Chris?
This is a 1966 Yamaha SG2.
Okay. So this is very different from the Carlos Santana Yamaha SG.
Correct.
What was those? The 2000?
Well, yeah, they make a whole bunch of they make a whole bunch of different models of that. But this is Yamaha's first electric guitar that they ever made in their life.
In my life.
In their life. Yeah. And they originally came out in 1966. This is the first year, and you can tell that by the script logo.
Okay.
And if you're not aware, they were very aware of what Fender was making and ripped off a whole bunch of stuff. This is mostly a Jazzmaster with a little bit of Jag thrown in. And everybody's going, oh, wow, yeah, an old cheap Japanese guitar.
Japanese guitar, okay.
No. We're going to dig into this thing. We're going to take it apart, and we're going to show you that this is what Fender should have been making.
Okay. All right.
This thing, this is high-end Japanese guitar.
Okay.
This isn't bullshit. Send it to America, sell it.
This isn't bullshit.
Bullshit sent to America for little money.
Okay.
No, this was top of the line.
Top of the line. All right.
Japanese stuff. So, how do you want to do this?
Well,
want to do a little bit of nuts to butts.
Yeah, so let's do that. So actually, can we put it up here like we did the last one, the Rare Bird?
Yep.
Do we have a headstock thing? Where's that big Patty one?
Hang on.
Rick's got one here.
Nope.
Ah, here we go. Okay.
There you go.
All right. So Chris, so this is the first year of this. You got it?
Yep, I got it.
All right. So this is the first year of this instrument here. Hold on, The microphone is in the way. Let's get that just a little bit out of the way. Okay. So this is the first year of the Yamaha SG2. Why did they call it the SG2 if it was the first year, do you think?
Because it has two pickups.
Okay.
SG is for super guitar.
Super guitar.
All right. Yep. These were made in the Nippon Gaki factory, which means Nippon Guitar Factory.
Okay.
Yeah. Getting all flustered. So they made the SG2, which is two pickups. They made SG3, which is one pickup here and then two, like kind of
like a humbucking kind of.
Well, it did humbucking, but it also split it with a roller up here. It had a third roller that you can roll. It has a center detent with both pickups on 100%. And then as you roll it one way, it goes all the way to the back one. As you roll it the other way, it goes all the way to the front one.
That's a pretty cool.
Which is pretty cool.
Instead of just a switch, right?
Instead of just a switch, yeah. 25.5-inch scale.
Okay.
22 frets, no overhangs, so it's 22 all the way to the back of the heel.
So we're going to see that a little bit. So let's talk a little bit more about the history of this. How long had Yamaha been making? Yamaha had been making
acoustic guitars since the dawn of time.
So
but this is their first foray into the electric guitar market.
Okay, but Yamaha has made musical instruments for decades. While everyone else was still struggling with how to what to call their new broadcaster or Esquire, Yamaha was contorting brass and steel and making wind instruments and drums and everything. Yes, orchestra. Okay,
All right. Sure.
And they still are today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're huge.
We're going to talk more about that at the end of this, aren't we?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can talk more about that.
So you want to start at the headstock?
Yeah. So headstock, weird looking headstock that when I first saw it, I thought was really dumb looking, and now I love it. 6 tuners. The tuners aren't a highlight, but they're not total garbage. This guitar is 100% stock too. I think I'm probably the first person that'll ever opened this guitar up since it was new. So that'll be kind of fun because there's some really, you look at this guitar and you're like, okay, yeah. But we'll deep dive into it, and there's some really, really cool stuff that they did.
Okay.
And yeah, that's what makes these guitars so neat to me, because I love Jazzmasters and Jags, but they have some issues, and in a lot of ways, Yamaha was trying to correct a lot of those issues.
Okay.
All the way back in 1966, when Fender's new idea was, let's bind the neck and put blocks in it. These guys were going, well, let's put roller saddles on there, and bearings, and not make wood hold wood or hold stuff together. So
all right, so headstock, we've got 6 in line, and strings come off the nut reasonably straight?
Yep, reasonably straight. And hey, look at that. There's a 0 fret.
There's a 0 fret, but more to the point, this has a string retaining tree that that some people have been using for a little while.
Yeah, so I think the string retaining tree is really cool because it holds 3 strings instead of just 2.
And we've seen the Reverend guitar.
Reverend does something like this. Yeah, which, I bet you they think they thought of it.
I bet you they took a design cue from maybe there's someone at Reverend who really likes these too.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's really cool. That's actually a metal logo that screws in. You can unscrew it, but it screws in. That's pretty.
Oh, the Yamaha tuning fork
tasty.
thing?
Yeah, the Yamaha tuning fork thing. Oh, is that what those are?
You knew that.
Yeah, I did.
I have those on a motorcycle.
Yeah, which is hilarious. I think they got their start making pianos.
Can you imagine what the piano would look like if Fender made one? Anyway, all right. So what else we got?
So this thing takes tons and tons of cues from the Fender Jazzmaster. 2 pickups. You've got your main controls down here, master volume, master tone, 3-way switch. But then it's also got a rhythm circuit. So this turns on just this pickup, and then it's got a separate volume and tone. It's one of my least favorite Jazzmaster things, but this one does that as well. It's got a really cool trem, really cool bridge that's got a bunch of neat features to it. That's the back.
So what kind of wood do we have here? Alder of some kind?
No, it's some sort of Japanese cedar.
Okay.
That's a veneer. That's a veneer. This is a 6-piece body, probably.
Okay.
Underneath the veneer.
And you know that it's probably a multi-laminate body because you have probably owned more Yamaha SG2s than anyone in recorded history.
Probably, yeah. I've owned probably 40 of these things, and that's not a lie.
Okay.
Yeah. So originally, the first one that I got, I bought a long time ago, probably 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago, on a Craigslist ad that stated old Yamaha guitar, $150.
Okay.
And I went and looked at it, and it didn't have strings on it. It was the same color. And the guy said, roommate left it behind like a decade ago. It's never had strings on it that I could remember. And I was like, yeah, that looks cool. I'll take it. Yeah. And I took it home and started Googling old Yamaha guitar because I didn't even know what it was called.
Yeah.
And slowly figured out what it was. But back then, there wasn't a whole lot of information on these things because it's just old Japanese stuff.
Well, and Yamaha has had so many SGs that it's tricky to figure out which one.
And then I started telling people, I got a Yamaha SG, and they're all thinking, oh, that cool looking one. And then they'd see this and go, oh.
So a couple people want to know how many frets are there on this, Chris?
22 frets.
And scale length again?
25 and a half.
Okay, so that's where it departs from the Jag there.
Yeah. So really, I think this is more like a Jazzmaster with a couple of Jag looking pickups.
Okay.
The pickups are really cool. They're more like P90s. They've got bar magnets underneath adjustable pole pieces.
Okay.
Yeah, they're fairly hot. They come in at like 9.5K.
I want to say that this is one of the guitars that we had when we did our notorious everything you wanted to know, or the shocking truth about 0 frets.
Yeah. It's the same model, but it's a different guitar.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, we've experimented and talked a lot about 0 frets, and in fact, we've talked a lot about 0 frets and burned a bunch of bandwidth talking about 0 frets. That I refuse to answer any questions about zero frets in this video.
Okay, good.
So if you want to answer them, you can, but I am
Okay.
not even going to ask them.
All right.
Because there are people who don't know what they do. And when we tell them what they do and why they work, they refuse to believe it. So I'm not even going to.
Yeah, we won't go down that.
And what do we got? What do we got here and here? I'm going to go get more beer.
Okay, yeah, go get more beer. Maybe let's start tearing this thing apart a little bit.
All right.
And we'll show some.
You want me to change the camera angle here?
Yeah, maybe raise it up and down.
Okay, everybody. So I am going to. Can you tell me what this looks like, Chris?
There you go. Perfect.
Is that good right there?
I think that's actually really good.
Okay. Are you sure?
I think it's not the worst. Come and look. So I got my little toolkit all ready to go.
Okay. Yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not horrible. One more thing.
All right. So if you're just now tuning in, this is our new segment. I have this old guitar. Today we're featuring one of Chris's guitars from his private collection. This is a Yamaha SG2 from 1966. From 1966. We've had a handful of people who want to get in on I have this old guitar, and I think one of the Dangerous Brothers, maybe both the Dangerous Brothers, are going to bring some guitars for us to do while they're here, which I think would be cool. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually really looking forward to this segment. I think these are neat, and it's fun to kind of dig into, especially old instruments, and kind of look and see some of the things that make them cool.
Make them cool.
Yeah. So these are the same strings that it had on it in 1966.
As far as we know. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I did actually own. So they made the SG2, SG3, SG12, which was a 12 string, not a 12 pickup model. So I'm not quite sure how that works with their naming situation. But then they also had a SB
super bass
4.
Okay, 4 strings.
No, sorry,
4
SB2. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, 2 pickup. And the one I got was so fresh, and so I'm absolutely convinced it had the original flat wound strings.
Wow.
From 1960. It was a 67.
So people are giving us some grief about our neck rest here, and they'll just have to deal with it.
Yeah, they're just going to have to deal with it. Oh, no.
Yeah. So Johnny wants to know, is the headstock angled? No.
No, it is not. It is scooped like a fender.
All right.
See that?
Yep. So where's the serial number on this bad dude?
It's on the end of the fingerboard.
Let's see if we can get that in the shot.
Mosrite. It's 2007.
Nope.
You can't see. You're not going to be able to see.
Well, it's right. It's right here.
Yeah, it's right there. Yep. Hey, Rick, would you hand me that round neck rest? I will heed that advice just because it's easier to do stuff off of this.
Okay. Of course, this is a product from our good friends at Stuart McDonald, who we shill for daily.
Yep. So one of the first features on this thing is the trim arm is adjustable. It's got a little collet here so that you can adjust the tension of the trim. It tightens down. It makes the trim arm tighter as you turn that.
It's like a collet or like a compression fitting.
It's a compression fitting.
Okay, cool.
Yep. Yeah, and that's way better than Fender, whose arms are always wobbling around.
Joe wants to know, is it me or does the neck have a bow? It's you.
Jesus, fuck me. Yeah, it's totally fucking bowed. And that's why we're showing it off, is because it's a big pile of junk. Stop looking for negative things. Look for positive things. You'll have more fun.
All right. So what are you taking?
So I'm pulling off this plate that really is just a trim plate for the tremolo to show off. Let's see if we can do it.
Richard says that in 1966, he was surfing at Hermosa Beach and working at Shakey's Pizza and then got drafted. Two things I actually really am fond of. Shakey's Pizza and getting drafted. Yeah. I've never surfed before. Nor been drafted. Oh, wow. Yep. Look at this.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm not going to pull the whole thing apart, but the trem actually runs on little bearings. It's got a set of bearings on both sides. It's not bushings. It's not a knife edge. It's bearings. So it's super, super smooth.
Okay.
Okay. Here, let's pull this off so you can see how that works.
Oh, so it really is a
yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep. That's pretty cool. This bridge, I'll pull it off. So it's got two little springs underneath.
Wow,
so if you have to raise it up,
and hold on, Chris. Can you slow down a little bit here? So the hands are getting in the way.
Sorry.
I'm not. No one's saying that. No. I'm just noticing it. So we've got lots of time here. So
what kind of screw is that? Is that a wood screw?
No, it's a machine.
It's a machine screw.
Okay.
You know what that means?
No.
It means inserts in there.
Okay.
For machining. So it's got inserts. It's also got, can you see it's got rollers on all the individual saddles. It's got individual saddle height adjustment. It's also got these little side plates here that stop the saddles from going side to side. Can you see that? Right there. This bridge is pretty trick. For 1966, pretty trick. Okay. I'm just tearing this guitar apart like it's... Okay. Let's take the pickguard off.
Okay.
Oh, or do you want to flip it over and show the your favorite part?
I don't really care.
Let's flip it over and show your favorite part.
All right.
That'll stay put. You're like, this is stupid.
No, I am certainly not saying that. So why don't we pull the neck, Chris? Look at those teeny tiny neck holes.
Yeah, how
screws?
How do those ever hold on to that big giant 22 fret neck?
Yeah,
I'll bet this guitar doesn't even have a truss rod because a lot of those Japanese guitars didn't have an adjustable truss rod, right?
I don't know.
So this is just a plate.
Okay, so now this is something that I find to be a very cool feature, and I wish that we had copied, but still have yet to do so.
Yeah. So 4 neck screws, and that hole, and then down there you can see that's the truss rod adjustment. And you can use an Allen wrench or something like that. Originally, these guitars came with a case that had a tool bag in it, and you got a wrench that was specifically made to adjust the truss rod.
Okay, so you didn't use a nail or something?
No, you usually did not. You used, unless you lost the bag.
Okay.
Yeah, so in the bag it had the truss rod adjustment. It had a little wrench for just miscellaneous stuff, like a multi kind of a wrench. It came with a polishing cloth, a cable, and a really cool strap in a little bag on the side of the case, which is pretty neat.
Okay. So you know what I'm noticing is this neck is a solid piece of maple. Obviously, it's got a rosewood fretboard, but I couldn't remember if these had the laminate necks, aka the plywood necks. Did they ever come with that?
No, these did not. These always had a maple neck.
All right.
Yeah, and some of them are crazy figured.
Someone wants to know if they can still watch the channel, but they don't drink beer. I don't know what.
Yeah,
I don't see why not. That's the thing, you know. After working in the guitar shop where it's dusty, sometimes we have a beer after. So yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of your favorite. That's your favorite part of this guitar.
Far and away, my favorite part.
I think it's pretty neat because it's 4 screws, but you don't have to pull the neck.
I wonder.
to get access to it.
It
doesn't have any stuff up here.
Yeah, I like the notion of the wheel truss rod that pokes through the frets, which I think is an elegant solution. But I also think that the way the Yamaha SG is done is just a cool feature. So.
It's funny that they thought that's the way to do it, because I don't know that I've ever seen it.
Well, yeah, it is a fairly well, it's sophisticated and complex way to adjust the truss rod.
In a lot of ways, yeah. But in an era when, so you had to pull a truss rod cover on the headstock on some models, or you had to pull the neck on another brand. So
Doug is asking, why is the neck not coming loose? Well, Doug, because the plate that you see here is actually not the neck plate like a fender. It is the cover for the truss rod.
See the 4 big screws?
Access there.
That's what holds in the neck.
So I kind of wonder why they didn't put a hole in the plate, but then if they did, they wouldn't be able to put their logo right in the middle, which is neat.
Yeah.
So yeah. So were they the first to come up with roll? I don't know if they were.
I don't know. One of the funny things is if you go and you look at some of the Kaler rollers, these are virtually identical. Not so much these, the later model, the 67, the late 67s are virtually identical. And I bet you that Kaler swiped the idea because they're in the same dimension.
Joe says that he has a roller bridge on his Les Paul that he's a fan of. What did like Gretsch ever use that on or anybody when they use the Bigsby's and things like that?
I don't know. I don't know when the roller bridge became a thing.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know the history of the roller bridge either. We could deep dive into that.
Yeah.
Wow. So, look at this.
It's pretty tight in there, and I don't know that I want to yank all this. Well, actually, we could yank the pickups out.
Well, so wait. So is there any way we can angle this so people can see what's going on in here?
Yeah, hang on a second. That screw's bent.
Okay.
But once again...
so it's not a wood screw.
It's not a wood screw. It's a machine screw because there's inserts on the pickups, because presumably those are something that you will adjust every so often.
So Amanda has been commenting quite a bit. She says that she loves the guts. She's digging the deep dive into the Yamaha SG2 from 1966.
Well, you can just by even just taking these guitars apart the first time, I could tell that there was a lot of care and effort put into these guitars.
All right, so you need another hand or another.
Maybe.
Can we flop?
Actually, just take that screw loose and then we'll pop the whole pick guard.
Which screw?
There's a screw right there in the end.
Okay.
See it?
All right. So this is the bridge ground. We're going to.
Yeah. They've got.
Okay. Oh, I didn't get it.
Pop all that stuff loose.
Well, I need a little more room, sir. Okay. There we go.
Okay. There we go.
Wow. Cool. All right.
So. Yeah. So there's all the controls, and I don't know if you guys can see, they've, instead of zip ties or tape, they've used the little pieces of string to tie up all the wires.
That's right. And you know what you put here? You put your weed in there.
You put your weed in there.
That's
yeah.
Right.
Nope. Yeah. It's shielded. It's got a big shielding plate there. This is actually some sort of shielding.
This is the cork?
The gray stuff. No, the gray stuff.
This paint of something.
Yeah.
Okay.
The cork stuff is foam that has since turned to basically a paste
or rock.
Yeah, it's a little rock.
You know, it actually still has a little give to it.
I'm surprised. But anyway, yeah, you can see. Let's see if we can.
It's pretty neat that you can yank the whole thing. Now, our friend Doug Cower actually does that with his Titan series, where everything is mounted on the pickguard, which is neat because
Yeah.
He does a thing where, well, if you want to change out pickups,
Uh-huh.
they're mounted to the pick guard. So
Yeah.
you want 3 pickups, you want 2 pickups, you want 1, no sweat. You can.
Yeah. So there's the inside. This is, it's shielded. It's got a little piece of tape here to stop if the jack or if the switch comes loose or something like that. What else? Oh, you can see that. You can see the little inserts for the pickups.
How much time does that take to put little threaded inserts in?
Yeah, I have no idea. I think these are press in, and they're like they have little barbs on them, so you tap them in, and then as you're trying to pull them out, they won't come out.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, and I think those are the same way.
So there's some questions about, can you see any evidence of laminate construction? I can't, but that doesn't mean.
So these bodies it's a fairly thick body. It's like 1 3/4. And so it was probably originally 2 pieces of like 7/8, whatever the metric equivalent is. And so there's 2 halves. It's pancaked together, and then it's either 2 or 3 pieces per layer. Okay. And I know everybody's thinking, well, that makes it a cheap guitar, but I don't actually think that's true. It's just a body.
Yeah. I mean, there were lots of guitars that had pancake construction, including some Gibsons, the Norland era Gibsons, which are now commanding a premium. So this is the shielding paint here.
Yeah. Really high quality pots. Everybody thinks that Japanese electronics are junk, which is in guitars are junk, which is hilarious because Japanese stereo equipment always has commanded a high price.
Okay.
Or at least in the modern times. The Japanese people will make you whatever you want for whatever price you want to pay. This is really good stuff. It's old as heck and it still works great. They're completely sealed. So nothing.
Oh, they sure are, aren't they?
Yeah. It's high-end stuff.
So so the wire is not the pushback wire that we're used to seeing in the 60s. Okay.
No, I guess they didn't have that kind of thing there, but it's all good wiring. This thing works just as good as the day it was introduced. So
cool.
So yeah, they're pretty neat, and they're in the world of vintage guitars. They're cheap.
Well, maybe people will change.
I'd like to think that I brought along a lot of that because I've been talking about these guitars for a long time. And
now, what are you going to do with all this schmutz in here? So and when are we going to load the pick guard with DiMarzio Super Distortion?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Actually, I restored one of these, and it had 2 DiMarzio Super Distortions in it.
I was there.
Yeah, and it was a real shame that it didn't come with the Super Distortions.
Yeah, the guy kept the
guy
DiMarzio.
pilfered them. Yeah, and sold me the husk. So anyway,
so this is probably the cleanest one of these I've ever seen. In your collection.
This is the second cleanest one I've ever owned.
The first, do you still have the first one?
No.
Okay.
It was too clean to keep.
Too clean to keep. Okay.
And it had the original case and all the case candy.
I think I would like for you to show this bridge arrangement.
Do you want me to take it out?
No, I mean, if you want to,
let's pull it out real quick.
Here's your. So so this is a fairly sophisticated rig here, and there's been a lot of comparisons to Kaler, which I totally get. Someone's asking the Link Ray guitar.
Link Ray did play one of these. It was red. He called it the
red guitar.
Screaming Red.
Okay.
Yeah. There's some really cool footage of him from the Old Gray whistle stop or whistle test.
Oh yeah, okay.
He's playing one of these in the 70s.
SS wants you to say, "Excuse me while I whip this out."
Yeah. Okay.
So now here's what's peculiar. A bunch of little screws holding that to that with no that would be cool to have machine screws there too.
It would be, but I think this is one of those parts that never gets adjusted. So
okay, yes. Okay,
everything that gets adjusted, they put those in. Things that don't. The neck famously doesn't have them either.
Okay.
Let me see if I can pull.
I don't know. How about we just show it off a little bit?
Here, hang on a second. It only takes. They're always really fucking tight.
So they're down in this hole here where the spring goes, y'all. There's a little metal thing. So the spring isn't just resting on lumber.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to show you that here in a moment too. Joe asks, when taking a screw out and use a drill, do change the bits? I know you need the right size. Yeah, so make sure you're using the right size screw bit for the screw that you're using, and your patience will be rewarded.
Yep. Okay, so I can't get the end cover off of this thing, and I'm not going to force it right now.
What was the one that we were attempting to do that? We were trying to do that with something. Remember, there was a guitar it was a Bigsby.
Yeah.
Or a Mosrite.
Oh, yeah, it was the Mosrite. We were trying to press the rod out. Yeah. But anyway, underneath that little cap is a little bearing. And you can pull that out, and then you can repack the bearings. You can actually take it all apart and repack it if you want and clean them out. This one's really, really good. The grease hasn't even gotten stiff in it. Usually the grease gets old and it's like clunk, 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 clunk. But this one's really nice. So this is super smooth. And then it's got a spring that goes there. And then this thing goes up this way. And as you tighten that screw, it compresses the spring and then hits that plate down there.
Okay.
So you can adjust it for string tension, for different string gauges and stuff like that. Yeah. And in some ways it's kind of chintzy looking, but it's really well engineered and it works really, really well. And
I don't know. I don't think I'm sure it works well. It doesn't look chintzy is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, this is a fairly heavy gauge of stamped steel. I'm assuming it's steel. Yep, it sticks to the magnet.
Definitely steel.
So yeah. I wonder how they would make that today. Zinc,
maybe
casting. Yeah, I don't know. That's a pretty neat little thing.
Yeah. So yeah, really neat guitars. I love them.
All right. Well,
there
Chris,
you go.
Thanks for bringing down the.
Thanks for tearing apart your guitar.
The SG2 for us to look. Is there anything else you want to show off? How does it balance? I mean, it's probably it's a little smaller than a Jazzmaster Jaguar.
It feels a little bigger.
It feels bigger.
Yeah. A little bit, not much. It's really similar. One of my favorite things about it is that it doesn't have the same round over all the way around. It's really round here, but on the horns, it's only got a little bit of a round over on it, which is pretty neat. I don't know if you guys can see that.
If the black is so
black is so black. Yeah. But there I think you can see just how round this is.
Yeah.
There's no flat at all. And then it gets flatter as it comes up this way. And then it's really flat through here. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're neat.
This is a remarkable guitar that a lot of effort went into making cool. Can you show the string guide a little bit? I mean, I realize that string guides should always be metal, made out of genuine metal. We've done some string guides with bone before and they work okay. But I think that the metal string guide is the hot setup.
Yeah, and these are usually missing that.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, it comes loose, and I'm not quite sure why people feel the need to make a new one out of bone. That's always what the new ones are made out of.
Okay.
It's done poorly. Yeah.
Doug wants to see how fast you can put it back together.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Are you just going to leave it in a pile?
Yeah, I'm just going to leave it in a pile and sell it like this for like $100.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
In 50 years. No, I'll clean it up. I bought this one a little while ago, and then I just never got around to doing anything with it. And I've been wanting to do this video for a while because I think these are really neat. I think there's some real cool stuff to offer. And I never did anything. So it still had the strings that came on it when I got it. Oh, one of the funny things about these guitars is they are in the early 60s and mid 60s, the Ventures were huge in Japan. So Mosrite was a big deal, and they were actually starting to knock off Mosrites as early as like 65, I think, 66.
Oh, wow.
And all the Mosrites had these impossibly small frets, really low. And this guitar has really, really low frets.
Not to mention very narrow.
Really narrow.
No, this is probably 1 5/8.
It's 1 5/8. Okay. Yeah, and I'll bet you this neck is 8.2, 8.3 at the first fret. It's not
Okay.
tiny.
Right.
It feels pretty solid. They usually get really fat at the 12th.
So another thing, let's see if we can show off that this is in fact a 22 fret neck, but it does not have the overhanging.
Correct.
Can you rotate
Yeah.
this way so people can see the neck?
Yeah.
The neck actually goes to the end of the fretboard. That's a cool thing.
And look how high the neck sits proud of the body.
Why does it do that?
On this? I think just because the bridge is fairly tall
Okay.
and that whole situation. Like Fender would have put their neck pocket in at the normal depth and then put a big dumb shim under there.
Okay.
To do this. That's the way all the Jazz Masters and Jags came.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, and yeah, they're really neat. I think this is a better guitar than a Jazz Master.
All right.
As far as construction.
Well, maybe as soon as the guys in Sonic Youth start playing it, we'll or who I don't know.
Yeah. That's the other problem is nobody. Link Ray is the famous guy for these.
Well, yeah,
so, and it's Japanese. It's not American. So
yeah, okay.
But they're really cool and I like them a lot.
Cool. All right. Well, guys, thanks for joining us for our Thursday show and tell. I have this old guitar. We will see you tomorrow for a reveal from the Build a Fabric Top guitar class. And I look forward to doing that. So until then, you guys have a great rest of the night. We'll see you tomorrow.